Hi friends, it's Danielle with Soft Healing by Danielle, and I just sat down to hopefully get a lot done on this project. And I recently did a video like this where I just kind of stitch and chat, and I had a lot of fun, so I just thought, let's do it again. I have a recent short talking about what I'm working on more in depth. So check that out. It's a gaslighting series. It's all done by hand with patchwork. This one says Wicked Woman. And I'm going to quilt it all together with a piece of poetry. Yeah, I don't really want to get into it too much just because I already have talked about it a lot. But this is the final piece and in a series of 3. So I have one that says, "You're so crazy." And I've quilted it together by writing, "I'm not crazy," over and over again. The next one says, "See you next Tuesday," but like for real, which by the way, ooh, girl, people hate that word. I mean, I meant it to be provocative, but wow. I'm kind of surprised by the amount of feedback I've gotten on that. I stitched that one together by stitching "I belong and I matter." I belong and I matter. I love that. This one says Wicked Woman, like I said. And I really want to do a piece of my writing instead of stitching a repetitive sentence over and over again. I want to write something. So I'm excited, but I don't know yet. But I better know quickly because once this part is all pieced together, which is getting really close, I'll be ready for that step. And I'm excited just because I'm so proud and I'm excited to get this done, but also I think I have the idea for my new project after this. This is harder to do than you'd think, to sew and chat at the same time. Yeah, I'm excited for my new thing, and I just have much more confidence now because, you know, I've always had these big, weird artistic ideas, but I now trust myself to be brave enough to do them and to finish them. And I use the term bravely, or brave, really intentionally, because that's something I've learned recently, is how brave it is to create something, how brave it is to show up every day, and how truly brave it is to finish it, to share it. It's quite vulnerable. My kitty's with me. Do you want to come say hi, Mary? My cat's name is Mary Oliver, after the poet. And I love her so much. And she likes to hang out with me while I stitch, which is just like a dream. Like, that's why I got a cat. I just had a dream of having a cat and stitching. And the cat just lazily naps while I lazily stitch. Okay. Gotta do a repair here. So what I'm doing is just, I do this in chunks. So I had a section here. Oh, you can't even see me. I'm basically sewing across this whole horizontal line to sew the wicked to the woman. And patchwork by hand is pretty tedious. These take me dozens and dozens of hours. But that's kind of the whole point for me. I like things that take a long time. My last stitch with me, I talked about a dream I'm trying to manifest. It's about taking an Amtrak across the country by myself. And by across the country, I mean like Midwest to the West Coast. Yeah, I want to get a roomette, a little cabin, and I want to stitch, like do a project, maybe start to finish, and have that project like finance the trip. Anyways, that's the last video. And I kind of have an update. I found out Amtrak used to have a residency for writers, which is just like the sweetest thing ever. So you had to apply, and they picked, I don't know if they did this more than 1 year, but they picked 24 writers, and each writer got a round trip ticket, like exactly what I'm talking about. And they used their trip to write. And they're encouraged to like chat with people in the dining car and like hear people's stories to inform their writing. It's the best. So sweet, but they don't do it anymore. So I wrote a story on Instagram and said, we need to bring this back, Amtrak, and we need to open it up to other artists, not just writers. And I'm sure they have to like reply to everyone, but they replied to me that they're going to bring it to management. And then I wrote another little letter to them. But how cozy would that be? And maybe we could do it together. I have another idea that I'm trying to manifest. And it's kind of why I'm doing these videos, because it's kind of what I'm thinking, but in real life. Okay, here it is. Let's see. A group. Okay, so I'm in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. So I'm hoping to find like a group of progressive women. Although I think we need to rebrand. I'm kind of sick of that phrase. But women who are sensitive and progressive and are like traumatized by Donald Trump. And we meet together probably monthly. And you bring something like this to work on. Because I'm telling you, there's something about creating, movement with your hands, that tactile thing. It's so healing and so calming. So you bring something to work on. Whether it's knitting, sketching, painting, I don't know. Kind of keep our hands calm. And we support each other, and not necessarily, or not like a bitch fest about what's going on. And like, can you believe this? Can you believe this? Not that. More like soft support in conversation. Like, how are we dealing? How are we protecting our energy? And what are the steps forward coming from a grounded, calm place? I feel a little gaslit, which is something I'm healing from. So all of it's so triggering. And I mean, I'm a privileged woman, so it's a lot more triggering for a lot more people. But it's kind of like, we're not supposed to talk about it. Like, everyone's acting like everything's okay, and meanwhile, nothing's okay. Like, but we're supposed to pretend it's okay, and we're not supposed to talk about it. think I just went across the whole thing. I found it interesting what we all did right after the election. And I think what I did and my friends did is we just retreated and napped. I mean, I took naps on a lot of those days. I don't take that many naps. I just slept and rested, and I think a lot of us are still doing that. And on one hand, I gotta figure out what I'm doing here now. On one hand, I think that's beautiful because it's like our bodies took over and we knew what we needed, and we needed just to like, whew. And that's amazing. And I love a girl who listens to her body. However, part of me is haunted with the thought, like, are we doing this? Are our bodies smart enough to know what's to come? And thus we're gearing up. I don't know. That really haunts me, you guys. All right, here's some 9 patches I'm going to start sewing together. And this is for this bottom border. I built up the 9 patches ahead of time. That's just like my process. I start by doing a bunch of 9 patches of the denim. And then I move on to piecing and doing the lettering. And then I piece it all together. And I tried to be really organized this time, and I was, but partway through, I totally changed the design. It was going to say Bitter Woman. And I don't know, I just really like the wicked. And I like the, what's it called, alliteration? Hopefully that's the right word. But yeah, I just like, I'm freaked out. Like, I think we're all so freaked out. We're just in freeze mode. And again, if that's what we need, that's good. But I don't know. Part of me worries, are we just like allowing our government to be trampled to the ground while we just like put something over our head and pretend it's not happening? I don't know. But that's the kind of stuff I'd love to talk about in community with women who are creative. And if you don't think you're creative, you could come too. If you have an inkling, a small spark within you that thinks, you know, I've always wanted to try that. I've always wanted to do that. Then I'll diagnose you as being creative, and you have the right to seek that out, to explore. Without shame. You know, I feel it too. I'm very intimidated by painting. The women in my art group are all painters, and I just intimidated at my daughter, who's 5, was painting the other day, and I was like so jealous at her bravery, just slapping colors on the page. That would freak me out because I'd be too timid. But I don't know, I think I'm going to take a painting class. If you've watched my videos about this beautiful story about some fabric I got from a friend named Dar, It's fabric that her mom and her started on a quilt like 25 years ago. And Dar, the person who gave it to me, is probably in her 70s, and her mom's gone now, and I took over the fabric and I'm doing something with it. Anyways, Dar, what I haven't mentioned about her is she is an instructor. A lot of the women in my crafting group take her classes on Fridays. I think I'm saving up my pennies and saving up my bravery to check that out. Because I want to be brave. I'm obsessed with everything Glennon Doyle, Amanda Doyle, Abby Wambach on the We Can Do Hard Things podcast. And they recently had Jessica Yellen on. Jessica Yellen is a reporter with a storied career, and she's out on her own now. And she provides really good news that I trust on Instagram. I think she has a Substack podcast now. So I don't know if you guys listened to that episode, but it's worth listening to. I was convicted a little bit. One of the things Jessica said is she herself follows a lot of people into yoga who are really into like taking the spiritual lessons of yoga off the mat, which is me. Like I'm not like an expert at yoga, but I go multiple times a week, and I have been for a few years, and I love yoga, and I love all the teachings I've learned from it. And I've taken my lessons off the mat. I've breathed through difficult situations. Anyways, she was saying that there are all these wonderful people on her Instagram feed who are, yogis, sensitive people, wonderful people who are really, trying to work on regulating their nervous system and being a grounded force for our community and raising good kids, all the things. And those same people, which I think she's talking about me in this thing. I'm talking about me because I do consider myself in that group. But then anytime that Donald Trump or Elon Musk does something crazy, which P.S., that's going to keep happening. We lose our minds and throw tantrums and get triggered. And all the stuff we've learned on the mat, we just disassociate and we think it doesn't apply. And it does. This is our work. And if I am right about my haunting thing, my haunting vision, that we're all resting to get ready for what's to come, I pray I'm wrong, but if I'm not, it's time to start practicing taking our power back. And that starts with our body and how we react and how we calm ourselves. And not pushing things down and ignoring, but giving them space to talk to us. Giving space for the parts of us that are enraged and scared to speak to us. I don't know, what do you think? This is the kind of stuff I'd love to get a group of women together and kind of game plan. What's the game plan? I would just love to know you have something like this, maybe it's a little less scary and I feel like I'm maybe saying something with these stitches that are calming me and healing me. And that's the other thing, I think I've said this before, but if these men in power are just doing this crazy stuff, then I'm gonna unashamedly go for the life that I want, which is a life of creativity and freedom and love and joy and beauty and slowness and community. But I need to figure a way to balance that with figuring out like what I do about this external power. Like, how do I do my part to combat, to stand up? I don't know. Okay, so if you, I might wrap up a little bit. How long has this been? Let me know what you think. I should have mentioned at the beginning that you should grab a tea and grab your own project to work on. If I do another one, go ahead and do that, and leave any comments you have. Here's my scissors in the the comment section. Here's this that I just worked on, and then maybe like we can continue the conversation. And I'll show you this really quick because I just think it's really fun. It's a fun textile when you do it like this. So this is the back of the denim part. And I just I love the texture. And then all the denim was given to me by a stranger on Facebook. And I'm so appreciative, and I'm running out. She gave me like 30 pounds. I've been working with this probably daily for the last year with this denim, and I'm running a little low, which is so beautiful. This is a dress of mine that's really important to me, and so I'm so happy it's in these pieces. And then the words are paper pieced, and they're paper pieced around old journals of mine. These are my old journals from high school and college, and it's been wild reading these. I've been kind of going through them slowly, and then I pick one that I like and I take a picture so that, I don't know, in case I want to look at it later. And sometimes people take the paper out. I could, it doesn't need it anymore once it's sewn together, but I love the idea that they'll be in here forever. And the other two pieces, I put like a fleece on the back and quilted it all up. I think for this, I'm going to keep it exposed. And I might even expose the other ones because I just love it. But yeah, thanks for sticking with me and helping me get a couple things done on this. I hope to finish soon. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and take care.